Hello, grade 2. In this week's spelling lesson, we will begin Unit 26, verbs with es, ed, and ing. Let's begin our lesson. Please open up to page 101. Let's go over this week's spelling list. Live, living, lift, fly, flying, flies, drop, dropping, dropped, love, loving, loved, carry, carrying, carried, carries. Your two high frequency words are worker and Tuesday. And your two challenge words are pilot and sentry. Pilot is someone who flies an aircraft, such as an airplane and a helicopter. A century means 100 years. You may notice that this week's spelling words have words with the same base words, but with different endings. So base words are these main words to which letters may be added to make new words. So for example, the word live is the base word, and the tail ing is added onto it to make the new word living. And we call those letters added to the end of the word suffixes. Let's move on to the first spelling rule of this unit. Drop silent E before adding a suffix that begins with E or I. For example, the word love, you're going to drop the last letter E, the silent E, before adding the suffix ed or ing. You are going to follow this rule and complete this graphic organizer. Here we have the words live and love. They both end with silent E. If we want to add the suffixes or the endings ed or ing, what do? The rule says drop silent E before adding a suffix that begins with E or I. So if we drop the E and add ed and ing, so the first row you're going to add ed and the second row you're going to add ing. So liv plus ed, lov plus ed. They will look like this, lived and loved. Now let's add the endings ing. The words would be living and loving. Let's move on to our second spelling rule of the day. So the second rule says, for short vowel base words ending in one consonant, double the final consonant before adding the suffixes ed or ing. For example, the word drop has short vowel sound and ends with one consonant P, just like it says in our rule. And if we want to add the endings ed or ing to the word drop, we have to double the ending consonant P and then add ed and ing. So the two words that are made by doubling the final consonant before adding ed or ing, they are dropped and dropping. On page 102, we have our next spelling rule. For verbs ending in a consonant and Y, change Y to I before adding ED or ES. So for example, the word carry is a verb ending in a consonant R and Y. So we have to change Y to an I before adding ED or ES. And we're going to use that rule to complete this graphic organizer. So the rule is we change Y to I and then add ES. Change Y to an I, so it became CARRI. And then add ES. So the word is carries. And you're going to do the same thing for the word fly. Word FLY turned into FLI, and then we add ES. And now the word is flies. We follow the same rule for the second row. We change Y to an I and add ED. So the word carry changes to CARRI, and then we add ED. Now the word is carried. We know that when we add ED, the word becomes past tense. The reason why we don't have that for the word fly is because fly is an irregular verb. And the past tense for the word fly is flew. For numbers 2 through 6, you're going to add or subtract letters to make new words. Write each new word on a line. Numbers 2 and 3, you're following the spelling rule number 1. And numbers 4 and 5, you're following spelling rule number 2. For number 6, you're going to follow the last rule to make it into a new word. So you're going to subtract the letter and then add new letters to make new words. You're going to complete these on your own. Numbers 7 and 8, you're going to write high frequency words that matches these boxes. And that's it for today. Goodbye, everyone.